Hey, how's it going? It's Jason, Nomadic Pagan. Welcome to week 25 of the Dedicant Path through the year. Let's get started on this, shall we? We made it 25 weeks so far. Week 25, the 9 virtues. Courage. Related required number 1, the 9 virtues. Required reading, Our Own Druidry, page 13. Virtues, piety, and study in the 9 pagan virtues. And Our Own Druidry, page 81, 86. Lore and essay. Optional readings if you want to. Warrior Virtues, The Virtuous Life, and Oak Leaves, issue number 14. Ethics of a Celtic Warrior by Robert Burton. Welcome to the fourth of the nine virtues. Courage. Courage is, of course, the first and the second triad I explained in week 13. The triad that corresponds to the warrior class. You might consider going back to read through week's 13th lesson to get a background if you've forgotten some of it. Yeah, we probably have forgotten some of it. Homework. Our Own Druidry defines courage as follows: the ability to act appropriately in the face of danger. Read through that statement until you think you understand it. In your dedicant notebook, answer the following questions. Does that definition cover courage in your eyes? Is it simply bravery in action, or is there more to it? What does the definition mean by act appropriately in face of danger? Do those terms sit well with you? Are they too vague or perhaps too specific? If that definition doesn't quite sit right with you, head to your nearest dictionary and read the definition that it provides. Write it down. It is strongly recommended that you include a dictionary definition in your final write-up. Do any of these definitions make sense? Can you encompass all that courage is? Now think of your own personal view of courage. Try to write it down in words. Feel free to steal phrases from the dictionary or the handbook if you need to. Can you come up with a definition of courage that makes good sense to you? Now think about people you know whom you would call courageous. Examine why you think of them that way. Is it something they know, something they do, or the way they did it? Or something they have said? Is it this something beyond this? Can you find words to describe it? Does courage go beyond simply bravery? Does it involve decisiveness and strength? Does a DP handbook mean? What does the DP handbook mean when it talks about acting appropriately? Is it talking about doing something specific or merely doing what is right at the time? Think about myths and legends from different cultures. How was courage shown in the myths and legends? Was there a character in a myth that showed real courage? How was that courage displayed? In the Odyssey, uh, Odysseus goes to the threshold of the underworld. How does this fit with your idea of courage? Do you see yourself as courageous? Courageous in some ways, but not others, perhaps? Not courageous at all? Does one need to be courageous to understand the concept of courage, or to wonder if something is courageous? Can anyone have courage? Think about a time when you have exemplified this virtue. How did you feel? Did you know that this was a virtue at the time? Now think about a time when you failed to show this virtue. How did that make you feel? Do you feel as if you've done something wrong or inaccurate? Are there lines from books, famous people, songs, or movies that particularly stick with you and illustrate this virtue, such as the Litany Against Fear in Dune, or Roosevelt's famous "The only thing we have to fear is fear itself" line? How do those affect your concepts of courage? Finally, is courage a virtue? Is it one that you should agree with that should be on ADF's list? Why was it chosen? What is it about courage that makes it either a virtue or keeps it from being one? If you have decided that it is not a virtue, would you suggest another term, removing it altogether, replacing it with something entirely different? Now go back through your answers to these questions and form a response of at least 125 words to describe your understanding of the virtue of courage. And have your fourth virtue essay out of the way. Keep in mind your first book report is due next week. Finish it up if you haven't already. This is my DP of courage. Courage. Merriam-Webster definition: mental or moral strength to venture, persevere, and withstand danger, fear, or difficulty. ADF definition. DP definition: the ability to act appropriately in face of danger. Courage to me has a couple of different meanings. It is a warrior virtue. but I do not think it is limited to warriors. Doing what needs to be done regardless of the danger, either physically harm or emotional. Doing what is uncomfortable for you at the moment to achieve a greater goal. Courage to face down an intruder in the middle of the night. Courage to go to court to face the consequences of past choices. Courage to walk into a job interview, or courage to do public speaking. My hearth culture of Norse relied on courage during battles to rush into battle and confront the enemy, knowing that they will die. Courage has played a major role in my life. To be great at life, you must step out of your comfort zone and have the courage to do so. Alright, y'all. Next week is week 26. Second book starting, Modern Paganism. So, we'll catch you next time. Blessed be, y'all. Get back to the DP, y'all.